Greetings and welcome to Walking Spirit. We all are born to be a lightworker and have abilities or gifts. We have been given this opportunity to live our purpose in life in love, light and harmony. Although everyone is different and some are in tune throughout their whole lives, while some are either just recently becoming or recognizing their gifts and wanting to grow in them, others choose to stay tuned out. Either way, the choice is that of the individual, but those who choose to follow their path will in their own right be a walking spirit. My name is Terry and I'm your host for the show Walking Spirit, held every Tuesday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The lines are open now, so if you would like to ring in, you can at any time on 15204 779 587, or else join us in our online chat room and message me live with any questions or topics you may have or wish to discuss. Just so that you're aware, there's sort of been a technical boo-boo this morning, so a lot of the people that are supposed to be in listening to this show will have to listen once the recording is completed. Just to let you know too, I have a competition on my Facebook group page, which you'll find at facebook.com/groups Mystic Warriors. Mystic, which is spelled MYSTIK, Warriors, WORRIORZ, sorry. To enter, to win one of my personally made Oracle decks, you need to write about what is so empowering and life-changing for you in your walk right now, and how has this change affected the people around you. Now, this competition will close on the 2nd of April, and the winner will be notified on my group page on the 8th of April. Okay, with that being said, last week I spent some time talking about the importance of protection, safety, grounding and cleansing. Today I want to be able to continue from that talk about things that can block you, going into the psychic rules and then after psychic senses. But first and foremost, I would like to discuss what is a psychic and how this may affect your lifestyle and everyday living. Right, so according to the Collins English Dictionary, a psychic is someone who has strange mental powers which cannot be explained by scientists, such as being able to read minds of other people or see into the future. Currently, though, the general public understand a psychic to be someone using intuition and the sixth sense only. In essence, a psychic is a person who has, through their conscious will, perfected the ability to tap into frequencies normally beyond their capability of the physical senses. This gives them an open doorway to sounds, vibrations, and visions from other dimensions within the Earth's sphere, and in some cases from across the universe. Their success or failure rate is subject to their levels of perception and training. So it stands to reason that the overall development of psychicism has to be gradual, has to be understanding, spread perhaps over many years or lives for the majority of us to get there. There are, though, three main ways in which psychic develops or comes into being. First, those for whom the human body chosen for this life has part of the brain already activated or not lying dormant, as is more usually the case. For these individuals, psychic experiences will start in early childhood and, depending on the child's upbringing, either become advanced or dulled by education as they grow up. But the psychic dimension is never completely closed up or shut off. So such people are always open to belief and have the potential for a healthy interest in this work. Second, there are those who experience a severe emotional trauma. Several psychics who came into this work after the death of a loved one or suffer a physical shock, such as a blow to the head. This can literally open up the doorway receiver This is all well and good if the person seeks to understand what is happening to them. But if not, it can be very disconcerting. A blow to the head, for instance, can cause voices to be heard, somewhat as if the radio has been left on between stations, as the voices are likely to be from the lower levels more than the later. This may be particularly disturbing. So it is vital for the individual's sanity that they understand what is happening to them and learn how to take proper control. Third, there are those who seem to want to believe but can only confess that they've never had a psychic experience themselves, while insisting that they accept psychism as a real phenomenon. They consider pursuing it further. These people have the ability to be psychic, perhaps more than most, but have chosen to be too busy running their lives on rails, holding on to the inbuilt fields of the belief systems. Any psychic experience they did have would probably send them into crisis, as the mind has a way of protecting itself from what it's not ready to hear. So with that, it gives us an overview of exactly what a psychic is, and 3 of the steps in which you can become a psychic. So it's basically you're either born with it, and through a severe trauma, you automatically click on as well. Those are the 2 main ones I'm aware of. The third one's very but it happen. You take it on as an interest, and then next minute they're actually doing the work and they're very good at it. So with that, it's very interesting. Learning how to take proper control of your new self and the journey that you have chosen to embark on. Understanding how and when to use your newfound venture is important and critical. Time frames are set and need to be set, for your work. Like a full-time job, you work from 9 to 5. It's a prime example. In this line of work, you should also set times. To be more effective, allowing or setting hours is allowing you to be in control of yourself. Too much time spent or being open to this work 24/7 can cause very serious issues, health-wise, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The effects of these, you will lose track of your reality and your human existence in this world. Even though having the experience of being secure, surrounded and protected by living and being connected to spirit, and also feeling nothing but pure love and security from this world that we know today, it's unhealthy. It's important and essential for you to find balance. And doing so, then you'll be able to you are complete and able to work field successfully, because you've allowed yourself to have those restrictions. My past experiences is basically when you do live wanting to stay in the world of spirit, you block out everything that is around you. So it tends to be that it starts consuming you and overtaking you as not only physical but mentally. You lose touch of reality and you lose touch of who you are as a person. So take heed to that, because it does happen. And I think it's just because you enjoy the safety and the security net that surrounds when you're connected with spirit. We are going to go through a few rules, basically, or as I know them as the psychic rules, which is very important also. So basically, in one instance, in all things, you're never to be attached to the outcome. When you're reading for others, never look at the sitter or judge them by by what they wear or what they look like. Never question what you receive in hearing or vision. Tell it like it is. The message is for the sitter to understand, not for you. You don't embellish on what you receive with your thinking. One word can speak volumes. Once you're in the basic protocol, as they so call it, tell the sitter not to speak unless absolutely necessary. Yes and no are permissible, but nothing's more. But then that varies in depending in your walk and exactly who you are as a person. For myself, I used to shut off the sitter, whoever I'm reading for, was because I didn't want them interfering with, or I thought they might interfere with what I was saying. The ego, that's the ego stepping in, see. And now it's okay if people are asking questions while I'm reading for them. I'm able to answer them basically straight away. So it doesn't, depending on where you're at in your walk, as to where, you actually want them talking while you're trying to read for you, for them, or whether you're just wanting to, just be basic and stick to yes and no's. Always be calm, warm and friendly with the sitter. Always speak in an upbeat tone. So you're able to connect with a person by being basically encouraging. Your voice tone is very important when you're speaking to somebody live or, face to face on a call. You go into a reading and you're sort of like, hi Jack, yeah, nah, that's not a good vibe to be walking into, or even consider. It might mean to say you need to take time out and give them a call back in about another 10 minutes when you've got over yourself, basically, because to go in with that sort of attitude is not setting off a good example. Basically, when you walk in and you've got to be vibrant, you've got to be pumping, the excitement needs to be there because you're passing on messages to somebody who really needs it in this point of time, in this point in their life, basically, regardless of whether you're connecting with the loved one or whatever have you. You need to ensure that what you give is what you get. So the attitude that you perceive and the person that you perceive to be, you need to provide that wholeheartedly. It's giving you 110%. All the time when you're actually doing a reading for somebody. Now, generally, because when you're working with spirit and you're actually doing a reading, this next step is basically, keeping up with the flow. So when you're with spirit, they tend to come in true force, as I like to call it. So you've got to keep up with them. You're leveling yourself up to their level, the majority of the time. So hence why the energy flows, everything else. You need to be able to build your energy up so that you're able to connect with them. And when they come through fast and continual. So they just, there's no gaps for the ifs and buts. It's just full on talking or messages, so you've got to be on the ball, basically, because when they come, it's just non-stop going full, and half the time you're trying to keep up with exactly what they're trying to say. A lot of my readings are done through typing, so there's a lot of mistakes that happen in that one because I'm trying to, it's the same way as what you would do when you're talking to your, to whoever's sitting, whoever you're giving your reading for. The same way as in talking is the same way that you're typing. And I don't know how many spelling mistakes I have in one session, but it's a whole lot because, a lot of people, depending on their circumstances and their situations, some people are quite happy to actually have a phone conversation through Facebook. Others are not. So, you have to be able to be prepared in all sorts of situations where, I'm not confident in a video call, or I'm not confident in a voice call. Can we just stick to messaging? So as you would in a normal phone call to a person, and you're sitting there giving them a reading, such as when you're messaging, you're typing like, I don't know who managed to, not unless you're a professional typist. There's no way in heck I keep up with a lot of that stuff. But as long as you basically put the point across and what they need to know, you're going to also get those questions of the can you elaborate on a situation or a topic? You also need to be blunt with that too. Sometimes, yes, they will, allow you to elaborate. The majority of the time, though, no, because it's not for you to elaborate on. It's for you to pass it on as it's given. It's for them to work out themselves, which they normally do in a day or so. And then they're messaging you back with now I know what that meant, that sort of thing. The last point of all for these rules is trust and believe in yourself. You are giving a service. A lot of who we are basically should be natural in the work that we do, because that's just who we are in general. We're empaths. We're intuitives. We connect with people regardless of this work. So it just all becomes a natural service. It's when you learn to trust and believe in yourself wholeheartedly that this walk becomes a lot more easier. It'll show through the way you present yourself, through the way you give your readings. And as you know, through Facebook, we have a lot of feedback. We love our feedback. It's through the feedback that is given on how effective it is, or you are as a reader. So, always look for those. They will basically be on track, or if you to improve on, to have a physical thing to get knowing. Okay. Now, the next one is basically the things that can prevent you from opening up, or prevent you from using your power fully. Okay. Now, we've got a few steps here. So basically, we've got 3 steps here. So first, skeptical people may choose to see your beliefs as a weakness, belittling you with their reactions or attitudes to what you are now doing. Now, know that this happens in daily, this happens even when you're not doing this sort of work. So it's how you handle these situations is exactly how strong, you're overcome. You're able to overcome. You have to realize that you cannot change another person's reactions, only your own. Many people consider sensitivity and similar forms of creativity to be weak, not for any macho reasons, but simply because they fear it. All right. Second, you may quite naturally have doubts about whether what you are hearing is actually spirit or just yourself. This is where our ego comes in, okay? The better you learn to control your mind, or what I call this mind chatter, the more you will perceive the difference between your own mental chatter and the real thing. General psychic communication is achieved when your pure consciousness connects with your soul's personal tuning disc, as you're so called, or effectively your higher self. Okay, so it's knowing Everybody knows what, basically how our mind works and basically the chatter that goes on in our brains, right? If you're able to control your brain and basically calm your mind chatter to allow your subconscious thought to step up and step in, that's when basically you're working with spirit. You're able to settle your 24-hour day, 7 days a week brain that's going full on, that whole time. You're able to settle that right down, and your thought process at the time is clear and open. So that's what that's basically talking about. Third, ego. Ego has its place in the personality, but it needs to be kept firmly in check. Otherwise, it can bloom and warp, just like a plastic bag full of liquid. I'll call ego people the great I ams, for ego has a vast greedy appetite. If you allow yourself to be dominated by it, you will become opinionated and boastful of your own worth. The ideal is to balance ego with empathy, to have your own self-worth. This allows you sensitivity towards other people's problems and situations so that you can relate to them, but without becoming them or taking on the problems yourself. Remembering we all have our own journeys to take, and you can't take others' journeys for them, nor should you ever seek to do so. So those are the pretty basic pointers of things that can actually block you from opening up or preventing you from using your true power fully. So the first one, being skeptical. The second, self-doubts of yourself and your abilities. And the third one is your ego. That's very interesting. That's awesome to know. So, because a lot of people don't understand that realistically, and it causes a lot of issues for a lot of psychics, especially if you're learning, not understanding or not knowing the difference. I've come across it personally in my own walk, and have helped a lot of people overcome just these areas in themselves. Ego is the main one because everybody thinks that they are doing right, not understanding the difference between the two. And they think naturally that, they're fine. Like they say, like I just said, the great I ams. But I am. I thought, the great big eyes. And, when you're able to speak to people like that, you're able to, basically from another perspective of using yourself as a third person and explaining to them exactly how, if that was, just imagine somebody said that and then you were doing a reading, somebody was like, but, I feel, it's not a good thing, but it's helping them to understand and realize what they're doing. So, they're very important things to know. A lot of people don't know, but, and like I said, a lot of these, even for like last week, a lot of these things are basic know-hows or needs to knows, because you have when you're taking this walk, a lot of this is avoided or basically forgotten about and not spoken about because generally you just tend to follow your own path for starters, and you think you're doing okay, but without having like protection, grounding, and you're doing this work, it's an open door for a lot of issues. So it's why I feel it's important, first and foremost, for you fellas to understand what you need to do from the very beginning. And that's what I mean. My own pages, they help They help you, especially if you're at the start of the walk. I'm always available myself to help all those that are willing to learn and are wanting to grow. So, know that there are people there that will go back to the basics, and they'll be able to teach you from the beginning. Right, you need to be learning about this. You need to be learning about that. You need to learn safety, your protection needs to be done. Grounding you need to be grounded, and also your time frames. Time frames need to be set, because once you open these doors, at first they're going to be 24/7, 365 days a year until you learn to downpact the time frame. I have a very dear friend of mine. She's very close to me. We're just pulling her out of the hole, because this is where her safe haven is. Her safe haven is being in with spirit. I don't know how she does it, but she's managed to keep herself, she in this world and still functioning. Although when she talks, people just give her a side look of, oh my God, she's crazy, because her words are all spirit. You'll notice the difference of somebody when they're giving readings and stuff like that. You understand their way of talking, their way of communicating. Now, having this happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days, it's going to drive you nuts. It's got to. I don't know how she's managed to do this for 43 years, but she has. Yes, and so we're helping her to get her grounded, and things are slowly working, and it's really good to see that a lot of things are improving for her. And she's going to kill me if I name her, so I won't name her. But she knows who I'm talking about. Right now. We've come up to halfway, so we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back.
Off the Cuff e-Zine, an online magazine that is given out freely. The wide range of promotional is unlimited. We take pride in bringing it all together for you. And we recognize that it is hard to reach a lot of people by just having a website, or even those writers that do not have the means to advertise or have a website. This website will provide its free services of advertising and giving others a platform to share their experiences, skills, and ability. For we believe that it is through others we learn not only of others but of ourselves as well. So, if you need a chat room to hold sessions, we can provide that with audio and video for classes, workshops, or just single sessions. Contact us to see what we can provide with our special features and promotional experience. And it is all free. Yes, free. Join us and meet other like-minded people, because that is what makes OTC the place to be. OffTheCuffEZine.com.
Hi and welcome back, everybody. Just before the break, we were going through a few things of just basic things of what is a psychic, who are we, psychic rules, and things that can prevent your walk. Okay, thought I'd talk now about our senses, or our psychic senses. Okay, now there are 9 different elements, as I so call them. We have, for starters, we have sight, or seeing beyond normal human vision. We're able to see outside ourselves, or the outer vision. Seeing within your head is also known as inner vision. Hearing, we're picking up impulses, sounds, noises, or voices beyond normal hearing that others cannot. Hearing outside the head, it is the outer hearing. If you're right-handed, the left ear picks up negative communications or ghost people, and the right picks up positive communications, spirit people. It's the other way around if you're left-handed. Getting prompts inside the head is inner hearing. We have touch, feeling or sensing beyond physical touch, clairsentience, and translating energy from objects, psychometry. A feeling passes through the finger pads and impresses detailed thought forms in your consciousness, which then expressed as images, thoughts, or emotions. With practice, you can also learn how to identify male and female energies in this way. Smell, picking up smells that others are not aware of and which appertain the spirit communication. Examples might be perfume or a pungent stench, which will relate to smell associated personally. Associated personally with the spirit. Taste, getting a strange taste in the mouth or having a glass of water turn acidic due to a spirit endeavouring to communicate a message. As with smell, the taste will relate to food or drink associated with the spirit personally. Beyond the first 5 senses, which we are generally familiar with, sensitives are aware of 4 more. These are as followed. Intuition, a sudden sense of what is going to happen, a feeling and inner vision of hearing, or a knowing who is about to telephone. When a sensitive is in a relaxed or daydreaming state, intuition can come into play quite naturally. Clairvoyance, seeing with inner and outer vision with the use of an active pituitary gland, or whatever that's called. The sensitive has become more readily available to enter a relaxed state, in tune with the earth frequency, which is 7.83 hertz, allowing visual images to come about both mentally, inner, and remotely in the outer. Clairaudience, hearing with inner and outer hearing with use of the active pineal gland. Again, the sensitive has become more readily available to enter a relaxed state, allowing prompts of inner hearing, as in telepathy, as well as hearing of sound and voices remotely outside the head. Mediumship, activation of the third eye through exercise or pituitary gland both work in unison, so creating a molecular motion of brain sand, which in turn activates magnetic fillings that exist in the bone between the eyes, believed to lie dormant in most people today. The person who has activated this ninth sense, be they a psychic, a medium, or a shaman, is considered to be an adept and can receive messages through vision, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Once we set up these pathways and become an adept, it is inevitable that seeing and hearing beyond that which is known to be normal will occur any time or place when you're relaxed or daydreaming, unless it's controlled. You should also be aware that the energy field of an adept is like a working glowing transmitter, and it will be sensed instinctively by animals and some other humans in the vicinity. Like the beacon, it will also attract spirits, ghosts, and entities. So watch out and make sure you protect yourself. So just like how I was talking last week on the more that you learn in this walk, you're like it just says, you're like a working glowing transmitter, and it will be sensed everywhere, basically, especially with the lower levels of spirit. So protection is vital for yourself. Being in control of who you are, so your time frames are a necessity. Your safety is important. And also with protection, it's meaning to not only protect yourself, but to protect those that are close by you, because the way that the lower levels work is that they can't get you, they'll get everybody that's around you. Okay, so it's always important to know that. Now there was also something that I had come across, which I've forgotten all about, basically, and it was due on the fact, I was looking at a while back what the difference was between between intuition and psychic ability. Now, what I came across was that now intuition is a broader feeling or a hunch, a pull in a particular direction, which often can't be logically explained. People refer to this as gut instinct, a hunch, or just a feeling. So basically, a prime example is like your first impression when you meet somebody new, and that instinct or, that gut feeling of whether to trust this person or not is a prime example of that, Also, to think of your intuition as your inner voice or higher self, or simply part of your you're connected to something bigger than yourself. When you're quiet and still enough, this voice becomes a lot more clearer. So when you're able to connect a lot more as you walk in your journey, you're able to distinct, or follow your intuition. Psychic information is more detailed, intuitive information. It builds up your intuition and provides more clarity and insight, usually with more specific detail. This information can be provided through clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, and clairgustance. So, which is more or less the next level up. So it gets your whole self, your whole being from your psychic ability. That's the difference between your psychic ability and your intuition. Intuition is just basically, the emotions or the sense that you get on first impressions. The psychic information and the psychic abilities that you achieve, just from that, it'll basically open up your whole world of what you're able to pick up, and it expands on that knowledge, on that intuition. So you have, what may seem the same. Intuition is instinct right there and then. Psychic ability is what you get off that instinct and intuition. And it's deeper, and it's more in context, more in depth, in expanding that knowledge around that situation, whatever it may be. Okay, so it's knowing exactly How to decipher the two? Because people tend to think that it's all in one. They're not. They're two separate. They're two separate things, but collaborate and, together. They fit like a hand in glove together. So it's an extension. Your psychic ability is an extension of your intuition. It goes into more detail. Your intuition is just your first instincts, what you first pick up. And so you just elaborate on that. So that's always good to know, the difference between those two. Everybody has intuition. A lot of people, your instincts, your gut instincts, we always talk about it, regardless of whether you're walking in this walk or not. Your gut instincts there. But then it's also whether we pay attention to it or not. You have a funny sort of feeling, when you do that instinct thing, when you get that instinct thing happening, or the intuition thing happening, it gives you the opportunity to, correct that choice. Do you want to go along with that choice or do you not? A lot of us, we tend to turn our ears off, turn our bodies off, and just tend to, regardless of that hunched up feeling inside, knowing that it's not good to go down, follow it anyway. Because that's us as humans. That's exactly what we're all about. We like to test boundaries, so to speak. So as a human being, and just being who we are as humans, we tend to follow that road a lot. That hunched up feeling of we know it's not right, we know it's not good for us, we still follow that one. When you're walking with spirit and you have basically, you're gifted in such ways, you tend to lean towards the instinct sides, the intuition. And right, you get the feeling of this is the right way to go, you'll be more in tune to follow it. And avoid that whole, the hunch of my heart's starting to, my soul's sort of like crunching up and no, I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, you tend to avoid anything that will cause problems in your life. Well, you try to anyway, the majority of the time, and you tend to go what feels right and what within yourself is to be, is to be in the right way for your path, to prove your path. Now, as we've got, I think it's 15 minutes to go. I wanted to take you through some articles that I have basically written myself. So I wanted to, sort of give you an outcome of exactly who I'm about, and basically these, the articles that I write are for anybody who are in that frame of mind of knowing, is this the right thing for me? How do I know? It's just a little bit of a help thing, so to speak, and understanding more about yourself as you go through. Now, I did an article which is called Life's Pure Essence. Now, this one to me is basically a whole understanding, a true understanding of who we are as people. So I'm going to read it to you. And at the end of the day, basically this is my view of what I think my true life purpose is. It might reflect to you, or you might basically feel that it speaks to you as well. But at the end of the day, you being your own person, you being your own individual, it's your choice on whether you take this on board or not. Like I said, it's my views, up to you in general. So understanding your true life purpose. There is always a purpose in this world, whether we are prepared for it or not. True facts of life assist us in so many ways, but not always. Seems that when we try to look through another person's eyes, it's not always what we see or perceive to envision, but what they know or believe to be true, as to them, is not only what counts as is their truth of their understanding for us, but for us to either take on board what or how they see things from their point of view, or let it go and pay no attention, pay any mind at all to it, such as understanding your true life purpose or your soul. Our soul's purpose. My understanding is our soul is purely our inner being. Our soul is our life force or existence. It's all we are in spirit. We have no beginning or end, as our soul is infinite. If you take a step back and ponder the thought of who we are and where we come from, there are a lot of scientific reasoning, religious views and theories. Yet no one can come up with a specific on-point answer, in my view, as it's all assumptions. With this thought in mind, as a lightworker, I've found my own truth and understanding on the subject to be not only purely taken aback, but blown away by what I myself have been shown and have now come to accept and believe is truth. We, as I see it, pure energy, the core pure essence of the universe, the creation of all that surrounds us, the life force of all. We are vast and whole, one with the universe. We are conscious of nothing, as we are all pure energy. Our being, as we transform from energy to become a human being through our Creator, whether it be our higher self, Allah, Jehovah, and so on, this allows us to experience the life as a human. As a newborn child, we experience life as spirit, as we still have no idea of what or who we are. We are still pure essence. We stay that way until we learn how to crawl and stand, or the utterances of our first words, as then and only then we start to lose our pure essence. We start to disconnect from the pure energy of our soul. We grow and start to learn and collect knowledge of the world we now have grasped and live in. Settling into the life of a human from pure energy can cause a lot of confusion and frustration for any child. To then grow up into adulthood and lose yourself totally in the makeup of the world and its pure existence and what humanity is and what it has made us to be. Although as an adult we have choices, some are good, some are bad. I have chosen a spiritual path, and my path thus far has been an eye-opening experience, trialing, enlightening, passionate, and I have met a lot of very influential, blessed, heartwarming, wonderful people that I'm truly grateful for in this part of my journey, Friends for Life. This has led me back to spirit, where I've peeled back all the layers of skin, fat and bones to reach my core center, my soul, my pure essence. Since opening myself up to spirit, the journeys you experience are beyond belief and a lot of the time unexplainable. Hence why I've concluded that through my eyes, this is what I know is my truth. You may beg to differ on my thoughts and even this article in general, but if there is some possibility that you may have wondered or are still wondering what it is, let that be the start for finding your truth and belief in life's pure essence and what that means for you. So that was one of the times we've done this about a month or a month or two ago, of my pure understanding of why we're here, why were we put on this earth when we could have had a world where basically, living in spirit is basically all about love. It's all about, never having to worry, never having to struggle. Taking that choice into becoming a human, basically it sets boundaries because you're unable to do the things that you could do in spirit. It's put up those blocks of allowing you to, be your true self, to be your true. So to become a spiritually gifted person and or living equally, you're able to get some of that power back within yourself. You're able to understand who you truly are, and see things from a different perspective. Everything you look at, once you realise who you are in this world, everything is no longer an issue. Everything is also achievable. Oh, Mr. 3-year-old has just woken up. Sorry about that, guys. Everything is achievable, and there is no boundaries to what you can do and who you can be. It's made me a stronger person in this life, and I look forward to waking up every morning and what's on the agenda today, and who am I going to come across? Is there somebody that's going to need my help today? Is there somebody that I need to be talking to, to help them in their lives? It's not about taking over their lives. It's about putting things into perspective for them, opening those doors for them, for exits. Whatever situation they're going through in anybody, in their lives, that you're allowing exits for them to get out of those situations. Your other avenues to look at, which lead to a positive outcome. It's like being a social worker, really, because it's basically what you do as a social worker. You look at positive points of, right, now this guy's in this situation. How are we going to get them from here and over here? Right, yes, he's gone through this, that, and everything else to try and get himself out. What other networks do we need to provide? Who out there knows about this and will be able to help him? So it's giving him information, it's giving him clarity, it's giving him a sense of direction, that because he's been dwelling in this situation, it gives him the opportunity to know that there is a lighter end, there is a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. Well, if I just stick and try and work at getting myself out, my walk, I've done that. That's another thing to add to my life path. It's knowledge. It's also it's a strength to help other people that have gone through the situations that you've been, so regardless of what, even though those testing stations are the hardest times of your life, to be able to walk in spirit and to be able to have something there that you believe wholeheartedly in, you're able to understand it a lot more better, and you're actually able to handle the situation a lot more better, instead of the whole 24/7 woe is me stuff. You're able to deal with everything a lot more positively, and yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd leave you with that note. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session as I did. Please understand that due to technical difficulties, we will be you guys will be hearing it after we've recorded it. Okay, so our apologies for that, but I really do hope that you fellas have a blessed day, a blessed week, until I catch up with you guys next week. And in love and light, I wish you a good day. Thank you.